What's up, guys? I'm Tinashe Moyo, and welcome to another episode of Stride. On this channel, my goal is to inspire people to take the first step towards their goals in life using my personal experiences. And in this video, I will be talking about how a crucial first step made me a living testimony. So sit back and enjoy. All right. So in most of my videos, I usually have to go through a couple of takes so that I give you the best cut. But in this video, I feel like I should just go at it because I feel like the story that I will give you today is much more important, and I think it's the best thing more than the actual take, like the visual take that I'd go for like 10, 15 takes to to do. So without wasting much of your time, and before I get into detail, normally in my videos, you usually see me making jokes. You usually see me making fun of myself, just being goofy. It's actually a part of my personality. But then on the other side of things, I think most people sometimes don't know that we go through different things. And I myself have been on a mental roller coaster. It's like my mind has actually been at my worst. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the whole process of Stride, like from the beginning, even to this day. I enjoy that. But then mentally, I've been in a really bad and dark space. And the reason for that being, when you see me smiling most of the time, I'm actually a high blood pressure patient. And, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. Well, in Zim, we call it BP. I was diagnosed in 2017 because I had developed a medical condition, which was a cyst. And to me, I thought it was cancerous. And, it's because of the fact that I had that thing for like 2.5 years, I think. So I was busy thinking to myself, like, oh, I've had this cancerous thing for 2.5 years. So that means probably if it's cancer, it is actually spread. So I actually gave myself like a timeline of like 5 years. If the doctors find out that it's cancer, I'm going to just live for like 5 years and then die. That's, you know, actually dark, but it's exactly what it was. So I ended up having to seek medical attention. So the way I reacted to thinking that the cyst was cancerous actually made my blood pressure rise. So when I went to see the doctors, they actually scanned the cyst and they thankfully saw that it wasn't cancerous, but it needed emergency surgery. So I had to undergo surgery, and the surgery was actually successful. But then my BP levels did not go down, they still remained high. So I ended up having to get on medication, and that was in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And at that time, I was like 28 years old. So, you know, it it took a toll on me in the sense that I couldn't accept that I was already a high blood pressure patient so young, you know. But times change. But for me, it was really hard. So from 2017 up to 2019, I would go for different reviews. So most of the reviews that I went for, my BP levels would be high most of the time. And in due part to me just stressing myself because of the fact that, I had not accepted that. So yes, I would try exercising. I would actually try positive talk all of those things. To a certain extent, they worked, but to a larger extent, they didn't, because most things actually happen in the mind. So I think in late 2019, I think I got fed up with the fact that most of the time I would always go to the reviews and my BP levels would be very high. So I didn't want to, get into that again. So I ultimately ended up not going to the review, and I ended up not taking the medication. I know that was a really dumb move. Like, it wasn't a smart move at all. But I was busy telling myself, like, okay, I would at least exercise. I would at least jog, because I enjoy being active. I like jogging. And, if you've seen, I think my previous videos, I spoke about playing soccer, which I also enjoy. So I was like, yeah, I will do that so that I heal myself, because I would think of the fact that there's actually a friend of mine whose name I won't say for privacy's sake. He suffered a mild stroke. It wasn't bad. And then he went on high blood pressure medication. And a few months down the line, he ended up not, he was healed from that. And they took him off the blood pressure medication. So to myself, I was like, so why me? Why do I have to be on this kind of medication? I didn't like it. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to run. I'm going to do all those crazy things. I'm going to heal myself. So from 2019, I defaulted my medication. Yeah, you can, I don't know, throw darts at me, throw arrows, throw, I don't know, balls of fire, whatever you want to do. I can give you that opportunity to do that. And 2019 up to this year, I wasn't on medication. So I would still exercise, but I wasn't consistent enough. And I think sometime in late 2021, I started to feel some kind of negative effects on my body. But then I would just ignore and just be like, yeah, it will go away, it will go away. Then get into 2022. Yeah, the feelings would always come back, like body aches and everything. So they would come and go, and I would just be like, yeah, I'll see how it goes. In the back of my mind, I knew that I was supposed to go back to the doctors, go back on medication. But then I was scared because of the fact that I knew from 2019 to like 2022, something bad will probably have happened, like complications. And then one of the biggest things that led to me being in a pretty bad state, I got confused a little bit because it's like the electricity just blinked. I would think of maybe a heart disease, or maybe I've got diabetes, or maybe I've got, maybe cancer. Man, I was in a really dark space. But then these are all assumptions, my own assumptions, because of the way I was feeling, because of the way my body was reacting to not being on medication, and let alone the BP levels mostly will be high. So man, it really put me in a really bad space. So 2022 ended. I was feeling okayish because it was on and off. And then getting to 2023 now, the year started a little bit okay. I was fine. And then when I got into football, football actually helped me in a certain way, because I got a little bit more active and I started to do more exercising, more training. So I would actually feel good because I would jog, I think almost every day, maybe 4 to 5 times a week. I would go really, really hard. And one of those goals was for me to get better. That was one of the legitimate goals why I really got into football. So I would do as much runs as I could. And most of the time when I would do the sessions, sorry, yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna go at it. I would do most of my sessions, and I would always say a prayer, and this was a prayer for healing. And I was just like, yeah, maybe I don't know, something might happen. But then in the back of my mind, I'm still telling myself, like, bro, I think you now have a heart disease. You've got all these crazy complications. Because I remember a conversation with someone saying that I think they were also diagnosed with high blood pressure. And when they went for a review, I can't really remember after how many months they had actually caught four more diseases. So I was just like, oh, that's probably going to be me. Even when I would hear news about someone's death, particularly if it's maybe a stroke related death or anything like that, or even diabetes, I would actually be like, oh, so I'm probably next. So you can actually see that my mind was in a really, really dark space. But then I knew what I had to do. I just needed to go back to the doctors. But then I was scared until I just got to a point where I was just like, nah, forget about everything and just go. Like it doesn't matter whatever they find, you know, uh, just let God be in control. And one of my prayers would be that if I do something maybe for my mother or relatives or friends, anyone, any good deed, I would always say that my prayer isn't money, but my prayer is restoration of my health. That was the one thing I really put close to my heart and put it in God's hands. So I'd also see my one of my good friends from work. Man, English isn't my first language, so you gotta understand me on that. But my good friend from work, and the name is Samantha. Yeah, I think she's gonna be happy that I name dropped her on Stride. uh, she would always, okay, I don't think I was supposed to say that. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, she would always go to see the doctors, and then I was just like, yeah, man, I think I'm supposed to be doing exactly what she's doing. Just take a page from her book. And so I did. I went to see the doctors, and I just needed to get things done, like all the necessary things done. So I was booked for an ECG where they check the heart, and then I got some blood tests taken, and I was put back on medication. So one thing that I'm really happy about was that I went back to the doctors, and I had actually written down a list of the things that I had been going through, like the symptoms and everything. I gave them to the doctor, and every question that the doctor asked, I would always answer honestly, because all I needed was help. I didn't want to continue feeling the way I was feeling. So, yeah, I got help from the doctors, and then I was booked to return for another review. I think like 3 or 4 days later. So I went for the ECG test, and then I went for my review uh, at the doctor's, and I ended up having to see another different doctor, but that was still okay. I just gave the doctor a brief history of what I had been going through. So the doctor then opened the envelope that had the ECG results, and then she also opened up. I wasn't supposed to reveal the gender, but anyways, yeah, she also opened up the uh, blood test results. So we just spoke a bit, and then she went through the ECG results, and man, she told me that my heart was okay. I mean, with the way I was feeling, I was actually expecting some bad news. And then we went to the blood test results. She started going through the list of every single thing, every single thing. And she finished the whole thing and she told me, like, man, okay, everything is okay. So in overally, she was just like, nothing was damaged. And then I was like, man, you you gotta be serious. I mean, I've not been on medication for like 3 years. I was actually expecting to get at least something, maybe even a little diabetes, uh, maybe a little bit of cancer, high cholesterol, all of those things that the internet gives you. I was expecting at least one, but I didn't get any of them. And then I was like, could I please see like where you're reading? Well, of course she didn't say yes. I mean, I was just being stupid, but I was actually surprised by it because I was just like, man, I really gambled with my life. I really put my life on the line. It was something that I wasn't supposed to do. But you can then see that this was just God. It wasn't me, it wasn't exercising. This was God. And man, it really gets me a little bit emotional. But, you know, I actually couldn't believe, even to this day, I I still can't believe that those are the results that came because I always predicted my I always predicted my death. Most of the time, I'd be scared to go to sleep. Sometimes I'd be scared to go home because I knew I'd be alone in my room. You start thinking of some really bad things. But I'm really grateful for the fact that God really protected me. I think for these 3.5 years that I wasn't on medication. Now, my parents don't know this. And I know I'm going to get in real trouble. Like, well, I told them about the results and everything, but they don't know that I defaulted on my medication. But I think this is something that's not worth dwelling on anymore because I've just received a second chance to life. And this is a new lease of life where I just want to do everything that my mind thinks of. Because I'd even be scared of thinking of the fact that what if I get a chance to maybe go out of the country? Obviously, you have to go for different tests. And I'd be like, oh, that's where they get to find out that I've got this, that I've got that. But then, man, God did the impossible. God worked a miracle in me. And I'm really, really happy about that. And now I'm much more excited about the future. Like, man, I really don't have the words to say. But I think my message to every single one of you people uh, watching this video is to take care of yourself by all means. Don't go the route that I went because I couldn't accept what was brought upon me. But then you know even the Bible says that all things work together for the good of the Lord. And me being diagnosed with high blood pressure was God trying to show me something that I was refusing to see for a couple of years, I guess. And a famous pastor also said that some things happen to you for you. So this is just my message to you. Always make sure that you take care of yourself and always pray to God